Got an update from Jamie Shaw on the recruitment of Quinn Costello, a player that has risen all the way from outside the top 100 into the top 30 in the class of 2026, according to Rivals recruiting rankings. Quinn Costello, a bunch of Big Ten schools want him. Michigan, Michigan State, Purdue, Minnesota have all been really heavily recruiting Quinn over the last couple of months. North Carolina and Texas still involved in this recruitment to an extent as well. And this is just, quite frankly, point blank, this is a player you've been trying to convince me to believe in for months. I mean, I have come on here repeatedly and been like, I don't know if I see it with Quinn, and you have just been beating me over the head about how good Quinn Costello is and how important he is to a recruiting class potentially in the class of 2026, and how he's a riser and he's for real and he's a dog and he's just going to be great in college. Anyways, we finally have an update from Jamie on maybe who has emerged as the leader in this recruitment. Reminder, he has wrapped up visits to Purdue and Michigan State already. I believe he was at MSU for Grind Week, right?
Yep.
He was at MSU for the big alumni Grind Week. He's
Mm.
going to Michigan this upcoming weekend, and this is what Jamie Shaw had to say. He said, heading into his trip with the Wolverines this weekend, Michigan is the school the sources talk about most with me. One source went so far as to say they are watching the Michigan visit closely. With that said, I'm told Michigan State went well, and Purdue is still being mentioned. So it sounds at this point, respectfully to Minnesota and Nico Medved, sounds like this should be either Michigan, Michigan State, or Purdue. And the expectation of all parties involved is that Michigan has become the team to beat. I joke a little bit at the top of this. I still don't fully see the vision with Quinn. I think he's risen too far. I don't think he's anywhere close to a top 30 player in this class. I think he's a good take for all parties involved, a true four-star type, and a guy that I think could develop into a really good player down the line. So would I be happy if my Michigan Wolverines get him at this point? Of course, especially when it's head-to-head with Purdue and Michigan State. But I was exaggerating a little bit. You've been more of a fan of Quinn than I have been. I don't think you're beating down my door to tell me how good he is anymore now that we see the writing on the wall that Michigan might lead here a little bit. But what's your interpretation of this? Do you buy that Michigan is the leader? And where do you still stand on Quinn's game as things progress?
Yeah, I do buy that Michigan is the leader. I think everything we heard from him points to Michigan being in a really good spot. Apparently a kid that very, very much values his education. At least that came directly from his parents. Michigan's one of the best academic institutions that you can go to. Purdue's also up there too if you want to be an engineer, I guess. But yeah, I mean, I've always been higher on Costello than you. Like, so I'm still in the spot where I'm like, I would be sick that I'm losing Costello in this battle to you, just because I think at worst he's a guy who's 6'10" and can shoot the ball, and I think he's a good athlete too. So I think that there's always a role for a player with that size and that shooting ability. And like in if I'm you, can I put myself in your shoes for a second?
I hate when you put yourself in my shoes, but yeah,
I'm
go
gonna
ahead.
put myself in your books for a second, if you don't mind, because those are
Okay.
fire.
Okay.
Uh, Going from a Danny to Vlad front court to Merez the Axel front court to Merez Quinn Costello front court is is an incredible 3 year front court run. Like Merez down low, energy, rebounding, bite your damn face off. Quinn Costello always looks like he's making a light skin face. 6'10" sniper athlete, just to complement Merez. And then you fill in everything else around that with guards or whatever else you want to do. Like you get guys back maybe, or you go get guys like Dusty. I think that front court pairing of a Merez monster rebound dunk, break the rim with a 6'10" athlete who can also stretch the floor, I think is a really good pairing. That's like, and so I'm a pretty big Costello fan. I am like actually, I'm not trying to downplay him now that we're gonna lose him. I do want him.
Okay, I appreciate that from you. Because I think it would have been really easy to just completely downplay him. Like, yeah, we don't want him anymore, which is from some conversations I've had. Because to be clear, that's been my take all along. Like, I'm not gonna flip and like hugely act like I think Quinn Costello is amazing if he commits to Michigan. I will celebrate a recruiting win because I do think Michigan State wants him. And I do think Purdue wants him. I think both of those programs would love to have Quinn Costello right now. So if Michigan is the leader and ultimately they convert this, I have to at least, I don't know, put an asterisk on this of like, it's good to get one. Like if Michigan State beat us for Medlock and Costello in the same class, I'd be like, damn, this sucks. So it's still not Medlock. I think Medlock's way better and just a more influential player in the program, but this would at least be a little bit of a swing backwards. If we got hit in the chin, maybe we threw a jab back at the chest by getting Quinn Costello. I like your point on a Costello-Merez pairing. In fact, that might sell me on a vision for him that could actually work. My problem here all along has been that I don't really trust where Quinn fits in positionally. Like I don't think you start him at the 4 in the Big Ten or in a Dusty system. Dusty clearly wants to be huge. He's tall. I just don't think he's physical enough to be a Dusty May 4 in a program that started Danny Wolf at the 4 last year and Yaxel or Merez at the 4 this year. So we'll see.
Or,
Maybe
or sorry not to cut you off. You take him, and Mara's got multiple years, right?
Morrow's got a couple years left too.
Marez Mara, Costello off the bench, or if you want to get, you know what I'm saying, a little cutesy, and Rothstein talks to his moles, Costello at the 3.
Yeah, look, I think he's headed to a bench role at any of these programs, at least early. Certainly Purdue. If he ended up in Purdue, I don't think he's a day one guy. Now
No, no chance.
I think he's a fun bench guy. He's a fun bench guy.
Man,
Um,
'cause I see the vision for even like at Purdue. I think there's a gaping hole at the 4 spot next season.
there is positionally a gaping hole at four for
Yeah.
Purdue, but I still don't think, I think they'd get a portal guy to start over him. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. Um, here's my thing. I just think the way I view Quinn is I think he's a guy that's going to need time. I don't think he's an instant impact guy. He had one of the best summers of any player in this class. I just think there's going to be some physical stuff he needs to work on. I think he's a poppy, like out in transition, look at me dunk guy. And I think he's a 6'10 guy who can shoot. But outside of those very obvious high floor elements to what he is, I think he's still a long way away from being like a Big Ten starter. And maybe I'm wrong on that. I've always been more down on him than you. I just get skeptical of the big time risers that like were listed as 2-star players and after 2 good events in the summer become 5-star players. I think there's a huge track record of those guys ending up a little overrated when they come to college. So for me, what I would say, it surprises me that Michigan is the leader from a roster sense. Because if you buy my theory that Quinn is going to need some time to develop, I don't think Michigan's the school you pick if you need time to develop. Does that make sense? In the Dusty May era, like you go to Michigan State if you're willing to play 4 years and get better and better and better. You go to Purdue if you're willing to wait and get better and better and better. You don't go sign up to play for Dusty May if you're a developmental piece. You go to play for Dusty May if you think you're going to play in year one, and if you don't, you transfer. So maybe there's a disconnect there. Maybe he is better than I think, and he's going to play right away. I would fear if he goes to Michigan, especially in that front court that could have Merez back, could have Mara back, will certainly be spending money in the portal again. I'd be pretty worried he's lost in the shuffle. Not all that different, by the way, than a 6'10 shooter Dusty had last year.
Sam Walters.
Yeah, maybe my comp for and I mean this as respectfully as possible. I think my comp for Quinn might be crackhead Sam Walters.
Oh wow.
Yeah, like just a more chaotic Sam Walters. Fun player. I loved Sam Walters. Sam Walters did not work out in Michigan. He wasn't good enough. So,
Yeah. You know what? I think I graded Quinn Costello on a bump too because I want to know what it's like to have a 6'10 guy that shoots.
well, you had Kenny Kaminsky years ago. I told you.
We need to get on this. Kenny Kaminsky 6'5".
Card, if you can you please just take Quinn Costello, please? Can you please just get him for me, please?
Yeah. Yes.
Just take
Yes. I
take him.
will. I will.
Okay.
I will. Him, Medlock, Jervis, Maximo, and we ride.
We'll do a different conversation on Michigan State's class, but y'all got all the momentum in the world right now, just not with the one guy I kind of wanted you to beat my team for. Are you surprised on the personality side of this at all that he favors Michigan per reports?
No, no. I mean, he's got a Michigan face if I've ever seen one.
He feels like a Michigan
But
guy.
but I want him. That's the thing though. I want him.
Now that I've done all of my skeptical comments on Quinn, can I give you my if everything goes perfect 100 out of 100 player comparison?
Only if after that I'm allowed to ask one quick hard hitting question.
Absolutely. It's a guy that
It,
also had emu face.
was it a Wagner brother?
Kyle
Oh,
Singler.
oh.
If everything goes perfect for Quinn, I think he becomes Kyle Singler in college.
I don't hate that. Don't hate that. Okay,
Bouncy 6'10-ish shooter.
got it. Okay, I like that. My hard hitting question here, and this doesn't mean anything because it's still very early. Um, like when do you expect Dusty to get one of these guys? Or does it even matter to you? Because even if you don't get them, you just go in the portal or you got guys coming back.
It matters. It matters. Soon would be my
So
answer.
yeah,
Yeah,
like
I think
is there a time period we're gonna get to and be like, all right, what's going on?
I think that Dust no, because they got McKenney in the first class. I thought Grady
Mm.
was a good get. Like
Yeah, true, true, true,
I'm
true.
happy with the high school class in year one. In year two, I would say this. They think they have a good chance with Anthony Thompson, with Quinn Costello, and with Luca Foster.
Mm.
Those are kind of the three. And we haven't
Yeah.
talked a lot about Luca Foster on the channel, but I think they are in the final two or final three for all three of those guys. If they go 0 for 3 on them, then yes, we would need to talk about what's going on.